First things first, I'm not a techie. I don't know how to write code. I don't know how to test code. Yeah. I'm going to be talking about how company started, where the idea came from, how it evolved, what we did right, what we did wrong, and maybe, leave a little bit about tech and, a little bit about how we began to do QA and testing along the way. So, I'm 52 and I've been an entrepreneur since 1990. That's when I quit my job. Prior to that, I'd worked 5 years, in advertising and marketing. I had one college in Delhi, studied economics and an MBA. And after 5 years of working in the corporate sector, I figured that, look, I'm not really enjoying this. Why don't I quit and see, what's life like as an entrepreneur? And I began with a couple of small ideas. A friend and I, salary survey, a trademark search service, this one. We were operating on the servant quarter of the garage in my father's house. And we started with a capital of 2,000 rupees. The 1,000 I put in, 1,000 my partner put in. I had no money, right? Middle class family, father was in the government, retired, mom homemaker, grew up in Delhi. And so 2,000 rupees चालू किया था. And I did a smart thing. I had married a batchmate from Ahmedabad, so she was working in SA, right? And she was getting good salary, and we lived off her salary for many years, right? When I was experimenting with my career. So the first 7 years, I drifted and I did a whole lot of small stuff. Salary survey, databases, reports, teaching, training, writing, consulting, part-time jobs for a while, with a finance newspaper. And so, anything somehow to survive, right? If I could, earn, in those days, 2,500, 3,000 rupees a month, at least I would earn my own pocket money. I wanted to ask my wife money every day. Yeah. So, 7 saal ho gaya, and when I was in my last job in marketing, I was handling the brand Qorql for a company that was then called HMM, and now it's called GlaxoSmithKline after a series of mergers and acquisitions. So I was in marketing, consumer marketing, and the marketing team would be, marketing means brand management as distinct from sales in consumer companies. The marketing team would be of 10, 12 people sitting in an open hall, and these would mostly be brand managers, product managers, and product managers and so on. And product management in consumer companies is slightly different from product management in software companies. So anyway, I was an assistant product manager, or I was a product executive. I forget my exact title. There was a very oppressive hierarchy. You had to rise 13 levels to meet anything significant, and it took many years. So, हम 10-12 लोग बैठते थे in an open hall. They are all, qualified people, all from the IIMs, MBAs. This is a coveted job, multinational, FMCG, head office, marketing. And I used to observe that every time the office copy of Business India would come in, everybody would read it from the back. Because in those days, Business India would carry 35 to 40 pages of appointment ads at the back. And it was the #1 appointment ad medium for managers in the corporate sector in India in those days. So, सब लोग पढ़ते थे, discussion होता था, like there's a job going here, what do you think, aren't we paid so badly, and this whole bitching section would start about the company, and these are people who are in a good company, in a good job, they're being paid well, they're handling good brands, they will never apply for a job because they're actually quite competent. But they would still read about jobs. And they would not read the articles, only the appointment ads. Articles take for them, maybe. And I found this to be very, peculiar behavior. And so something, एक चीज समझ आ गई कि, everybody is interested in at least discussing job, looking at a job, doing some benchmarking, how am I doing, what is the market paying, right? And this was a constant theme. So I didn't know what to do with this insight, And so I quit my job and did a whole bunch of other small businesses. And in October '96, I went to Pragati Maidan, where there was an exhibition going on called IT Asia. And वो हर साल होता था, उसके McDonald's बंद हो गया, but उससे पहले हर साल होता था. And there would be these 2-3 pavilions of these big companies, multinationals, with their products, hardware, software, whatever. Right? And those pavilions are mostly uninteresting. But there's this one pavilion of hundreds of stores of very small companies, very, very small stores. And there the variety of stuff being offered is very, very large. And that is the most interesting pavilion. And I used to go there every year and spend one full day in that pavilion, figuring out, just as a tourist, nothing. Kya chal raha hai? Right? And it was an interesting sort of day, and I used to do that every year. In October '96, that year, I went and I saw a stall, tiny stall, 3 feet by 3 feet or 3 meters by 3 meters, so it was a stall there. It said WWW, right? And I was puzzled. I said, what is this WWW? So I went. Right? So it was basically a reseller of BSNL. Right? In those days, BSNL had monopoly on email and internet access. And internet access and email came bundled together. There was no such thing as Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo Mail. There was no webmail. That if you wanted email, you had to buy internet access. If you wanted internet access, you got email along with it. It was a bundle thing. And it was, quite expensive. Right? And I had never heard of it. It had just come into India. So I went to the stall and said, what is this? So he said, sir, this is email. So now I'd heard of email. Somebody in America, a friend of mine, had email. So I said, really? So he explained to me how it works. That if 2 people have email, they can send each other messages. Right? And it's quite cheap. It's faster than physical mail, and cheaper than physical mail, and it's cheaper than the phone call. Especially if you're a long distance away. So आपको SP work करना पड़ेगा. So in those days, mobile phones were just coming. They were frightfully expensive. There was a 8-year waiting list to get a landline, telephone landline. So you had to sort of. Those were the days that it was really difficult to do business in India. Like 8 साल की waiting list थी गैस की, 8 साल की waiting list थी telephone line की, और अगर line dead हो गई then you are finished. Because it could take you weeks to repair sometimes. So I said okay. So I said okay. Then he showed it to me, give me a demo, and I said, you know what? This is going to be completely useless for me. I think it's going to fail. It's going to journey. So why? I said, look. I don't know anybody who has email, so whom will I communicate with if I buy email, right? So it's like having the only telephone in the world. Who will call you, who will you call up? And I have to walk away. Right? After predicting, email has no future in India. Okay. And he said, no, come back. He said, this actually stands for World Wide Web. So I said, what is that? He said, that is the internet. I never heard of it. And I said, what is the internet? He said, sir, ऐसा है, अगर आपके पास internet कनेक्शन हो तो आप अपने घर में अपने ऑफिस में कंप्यूटर प्लस मॉडेम के साथ मॉडेम और टेलीफोन लाइन you can access information which resides in thousands of computers across the world. So you're not limited to the information in your own computer. I said, that sounds very interesting. I said, show me. He gave me a demo. So I dialed here, like modem and that sound and that. Okay. And then he said, he took me to a site called Yahoo. Said, you start from here. So ये directory you can search or you can browse. So I said, search करते हैं. So search for India. So he gave me search for India means काफी सारे पेज आए. Some recipe pages, some tourism pages, just some pages, some SRS, put up no serious site. Right? This is now October '96. It was launched in UI program. So I said, this is very interesting. And I began to join the dots immediately. And I said, let me put up a job site on this. Let me find enough jobs from various places and put it up and see what happens. So I told the guy on the spot, I said, listen, I don't want to buy internet access because it's too expensive. I want to run one of those computers where other people can access information from around the world. I want that computer. Okay. So the guy says, you know what? There is that's called a server. I had never heard of a server in my life. Right? That's called a server. You need to own a server. There are no servers in India. All servers are in the US. So I rang my brother and I said, listen, when you heard the internet, he started laughing. My brother lives in the US, is a prof at UCL. I rang off that night and I said, I need a server. I want to run a website. Okay, so he said, yeah, no problem. We'll get you a server. I said, I don't have money. You broke. I don't have money, you don't pay for it. He said, don't worry. So he got a shared server at $25 a month. Okay. And he sent me the thing. Now, I didn't have internet access. So I didn't know how to program, nothing. So, very close friend of mine, a really good programmer, and he's a freelancer. And he was a freelancer even then, and he would work from home. So I said, yeah, Anil, have you heard the internet? I have internet access, I use it. I said, very good. Make a website लगानी है. So he said, yeah, I never programmed for the internet, so I don't know, So I said, partly, I'm sure you can do it. So he downloaded some manuals on HTML and stuff, and he says, call me weekly. I said, I think I can do it. So I went to, there's a shop called Central News Agency in Madras Hotel in Karnataka, which gets newspapers and magazines from all over India and the world and distributes. So if you want Malayalam Dharma in your home office, you'll get it by 2 o'clock from Central News Agency every day. So I went to Central News Agency and I said, show me all newspapers in India that have appointment ads. So 29 newspapers, I bought them and I said I want them every week on the day of the appointment ads. And they would send it. Right? And we would take the jobs, put it in a data structure in our own words. We were using something like X-Base. I don't know how many of you, Fox-Base, Fox Pro, D-Base, C, it was the era of DOS. We didn't have Windows. Yeah. And we put them in database, 1,000 jobs in our own words. And it was on a floppy and everything. So I put the database on a copy and took it to Manila and said, it's the database. I gave a brief on a blank piece of paper, just hand over it. I said, there was no search, it was only browse. Okay. And homepage, and that was the homepage. And now it is like ugly as hell, it is embarrassing, but it was state of the art then. Yeah. Now, first of all, let me explain that we didn't have TCP/IP access. India में बहुत कम TCP access, but that was 4 times the cost of shell account access. Now, shell account, are you familiar with shell account, TCP/IP account? So shell account is no graphics, no fonts, pure text. It looks like DOS for Unix. So only text, right? No colors. उस जमाने में 99.9% of monitors in India were black and white. So no color. We have converted ourselves. So it didn't look like this to us. For us, when we looked at the site, it was like just text, right? And Anil asked me, "Yeah, इसमें कोई color का देना पड़ता है, तो कौन सा color लगाऊं?" So our logo was yellow. I said yellow लगा दे. Okay. So that's how we decided design. That's how we decided, font. That's how we decided, color. Clearly, we had a long way to go in terms of design and UI. If we gave this page to Meetu and a team to test, I don't know what she'd come back with. but it got traffic, right? Because there are 1,000 jobs in live at any point in time. So even our tech platform decision was accidental, right? I didn't know there was Linux servers and Windows servers and various kinds of servers. I just don't want to get a server. मुझे मालूम नहीं था. And my brother, who's an economics prof at the business school, also didn't think. Okay, and he just booked the first server he could find. It turned out to be Linux. So when I gave Anil the details and he logged in, he said, "Anil, Linux है." So सीखना पड़ेगा. So that's how our decision on platform was made. It was not a conscious decision ki which platform is better and why and which suits our purpose more and फर्क क्या है, who does Anil know how to work on this platform, nothing. So anyway, we got a Linux server and that's how we are on lab till date. Yeah, purely accidental. No conscious decision. So anyway, so we launched the site and this is what our homepage looks like. Now we used to get hate mail from people who are overseas. saying, what's wrong with you guys? You know, are you colorblind? You know, what's in this color? And I would receive the mail and I would say, you know, I don't know what you're talking about. Because when we are black and white monitors with shell account access, anyway, I ignore the mail. Okay. So then we got our first color monitor. And I looked at the site and, you know, I still didn't find anything wrong. So I said, it's been running, let it run. Then one day, a friend of mine called up. He used to work with Hewlett Packard. Hewlett Packard was full of color monitors. Right? So he called me up and he said, listen, you know, you've got to change the color. I said, why? I said, because my boss can see from 30 feet away that I'm on operation. So make it a, you know, a more neutral color. Now that's genuine customer feedback, you know, that the functional utilitarian, that, you know, this color is wrong for customers. Because their boss can see that they're on operation because it's bright yellow. So that's when we changed the color. But for a year and a half, this was the home page.